in an instant. Although choosing to change takes a long time, changing happens in a snap of a finger. And that's what's present today on Trajectory Tuesday. So Sean, we have our beautiful guest here with the Unbelievable team. We have TTP, Diana, and David Gonzalez, who are rocking it, courtesy of Joe Hagan on our Mastery 8 a.m. call. So there's a lot to cover and a lot to do. So kicking it over to you.
Let's jump in and introduce these fine folks in a second. But I also was listening to, and I think this is a great segue into the conversations. So I should have been a statistic. Is a quote that last night I was reviewing as I was going through Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And David Goggins, former Navy SEAL, grew up in an insanely abusive household and environment. And the notion at the end of chapter 1, I should have been a statistic, was also then asked of the reader. And I'll ask it of you. Like, where should you have been a statistic? You know, I was going blind. The people in my family, other than my grandfather, but the people in my family that have retinitis pigmentosa had tremendous issues with alcoholism. My dad had issues with alcoholism. And my mom, when I was 6 months old, was pushing a hot dog cart in Jersey City. So I should have been a statistic. There's no possibility that this should be happening. There's no possibility that Calgary law should have been happening. And in many ways, I'm sure there's moments and things that if you reflect upon traumas that you've experienced, issues that have occurred for you, that you too should have been a statistic and should not be here. At the same time, there are people that are statistics, and there's no blame or judgment, and there's issues and dynamics. And so these next fine folks, I want to speak into with the fact of challenges and dynamics that exist for humans, what we could do about them, because at Unblinded, we're about to step into a new world order here, a new day here, where we do a tremendous amount of things for impact and contribution. And you'll hear them mentioned in passing, but they're not a more active and open part of things. And it's about to happen. So I want to first thank our guests, because a wonderful thing that came out in Entrepreneur, entrepreneur.com yesterday, Entrepreneur Magazine, was because of this relationship. And they're here to share some things about the background of it and what's happening and where we go from here. But I want to welcome Brian, Cuda, Silas, part of the amazing team, the leadership of Unbelievables. So gentlemen, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. Thank you. Should we show our videos here?
Yeah, love it.
Hey, Cuda.
Hey.
Silas.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean, for that introduction and just helping us think about I should have been a statistics. I think that got all of us thinking deeply and digging deep into ourselves to find those moments, because I agree all of us can relate in some way, maybe some more so than others. And also Fernando, Trajectory Tuesday. That's awesome. What a way to jumpstart the day. We're very thrilled to be here. I want to also thank Cuda for really digging into the Unblinded relationship, because working with Tony Robbins has been a dream for me personally, to be able to be part of that ecosystem. And when the opportunity, as you were talking earlier, Sean, Jonathan and Tony had been talking about it for a long time, and they came to Michael Loeb, my backer, who I was advising at the time, with a mandate. They wanted to give back, create an opportunity to give back meals. They wanted to create a social venture that was sustainable and meaningful, that could be here for the long term, and it was food-based. Those are the only three mandates that I had, that Michael said, we have to see if there's a business we can construct around this. And of course, my partner in crime, Cuda, I would not have done this or been able to do this. Obviously, we're a team, and we have, pulled the business together. We co-founded this business that is now Unbelievable, the mission-based baked goods business. But you've been there from the beginning, Sean. And Cuda, thank you for really digging into Unblinded and helping unpack and unlock the value that we have been discovering from literally the moment that we came to you and Rhinebeck last year. So I'm grateful for all of that. And we're grateful to just jump into an unbelievable opportunity.
It is non-believable. And I was joking this morning, but factual, that my son Tyler and I were in the room with Jonathan, with Matt Johnston, in coming up with nun puns in the very beginning of things, and talking about them on airplane trips to Tony Robbins events around the world. And so it's incredible to see what you've accomplished and where things have come to, and very excited to hear from you this morning. So please.
Okay, Sean, what was your favorite nun pun?
It had to, I forget exactly, but this was one that my son came up with, and I don't know if it ever made the cut, but it had to do with habits. So like, you call the nun, habit, right, that they're wearing on their head. And I forget exactly what it was, but it was definitely to do with the habits, and it was very funny. And I don't even know if it got recorded or ever transmitted, but we probably had 30 that day, and they were very, very fun. What is your favorite nun pun?
Mine is, if you can't, what was it? Well, nonsense is clearly the one I use the most. It's absolute nonsense, but it ain't no fun if you can't get none.
That is amazing. And so if I could anchor on this final, so we're at the Weekend of Bliss up in Rhinebeck, New York. I think it was May of 2019. And we had a whole team up there and crew. Nicole was there, Tyler was there, and we're with Rob Gill, and we're walking past one of the buildings, and we just smelled the cookies. And of course, we're joking with Rob about the cookies, and I love cookies as well. So we ended up going in and just walking into the middle of this amazing amount of cookies being prepared. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is like Unbelievables. And I didn't know Cuda yet. I didn't know Brian yet. And they were there and making this stuff happen. And it was, we started trying the cookies. We shot a quick video, and they were unbelievably delicious. And I am very particular. I like my snacks, and I am very particular. I don't like a lot of cookies, and I will even go this far. I was on an airplane coming back from California, and they had the milk cookies, like the company Milk, and there's this incredible chef and makes these cookies. I literally tried it. I'm like, oh my God, this is, and I say this with all due respect, for me, it was like, I do not like this at all. I'm like, man, I wish I had some Unbelievable cookies. And I literally said that on the plane ride coming back. So back to you guys.
Awesome.
Great. So can everybody see my screen right now?
Yeah,
you
we
can just reply in the chat. And it's good to see a lot of familiar names in the chat: Leba, Patricia, Craig. So we're just going to walk through the Unbelievable story, and Brian and I will kind of like tag team. So Brian, I'll kind of like have you start with this slide.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about this in the beginning, that it was really Tony's desire to really address something that's been critical for him for many, many years. As you all know, he, as a teen, was homeless and hungry, and fighting hunger has been a lifelong mission of his. And this particular picture with him and Mark Benioff up in San Francisco, this is a particular group of nuns that he quote unquote saved. They were being evicted from their soup kitchen. And if you've gone to a Tony event anywhere in the last 4 years, you will have heard the story. And these are an amazing group of women that have devoted their lives selflessly to feeding those in need. Every penny they got, they were feeding people with. And in the process, they forgot to pay their rent. And so they were being evicted. So he and Mark Benioff contributed and raised almost $1 million to buy them a new mission in San Francisco. And so this is part of that story, and that really is the origin. And when we think of the origin, personally, I grew up Catholic and I went to a Jesuit university, so this obviously resonates extremely well, where I learned the value of service and giving back. So for me personally, to be able to take the story of the nuns and then create this business that is now known as Unbelievable, it's an extraordinary time. And so Tony backed what is now Unbelievable with Jonathan Cohen as initial seed investors, and then Michael Loeb and Cuda and I came in to really form the business and to bring it to life. And it is where it is today. But Tony has been extremely helpful. He's allowed us to use his platform to launch Unbelievable. He, as you see here, could have just put up the tweet from Tony Robbins, and he put that up for us when we were first launching or announced the launch of the business last year. So we're very excited to be part of this, and we have an amazing opportunity to really address an issue that most Americans care about. Doesn't matter what divide you come from, we all want to solve the hunger crisis. And so we believe we've got a model that can help do it. And so the bigger we can become, the more influence we can have, and the more people we can feed, and the more people we can get out of soup kitchens. So our mission is big. Anyway, I'll stop. Cuda.
Yeah, and Sean alluded to how we've really been kind of like, part of, the unbelievable story, as in Sean and Unblinded from the very beginning. And we've also been able to see Unblinded unfold. So from the very, very first time, Sean, Rob, Gil, Tyler, and Nicole crashed our barn when we were setting up, to actually the first Unblinded event in January. We've really been part of each other's ecosystem from the very beginning. And I was able to speak at the event in January to talk a little bit about what Unbelievable was doing. We had a lot of people try our cookies, people like Gina, Ricky. I remember having a conversation with her at our table for quite some time and really learn about the Unblinded community. So it's been a beautiful evolution ever since. And to see what this platform has become, it's really, really amazing. And even connecting with Fernando in Las Vegas and so forth.
Yeah, and Cuda, Brian, just for a quick footnote, and during that time, and some of the people that were here remember it, one of our first 3 beta events for Unblinded was in Rhinebeck, and Tiffany Armstrong and, Pat Melson and a whole bunch of folks ended up there in Rhinebeck. And so, that occurred, and the name Unblinded was the byproduct of somebody that Steve Hicks, we retained him through Jonathan Cohen. And it was the byproduct of, and I'll just be real for fun, $50,000 of actual spend in working through coming up with the name Unblinded, which was my decision in the end. It was actually, I think, my idea to come up with the term Unblinded, but it went through a painstaking process. So the same sort of foundational roots of Unbelievables, were, sort of in common, like cousins, with where we came from. So back to you, Cuda.
Yes. So what we've been able to do is really create a mission-based baked goods business, right? When we started in January, last year rather, when we started, we were donating 1 meal for every 6 cookies. So even when we were at the Unblinded event in January, that was our impact. But over the past few months, we've been able to grow the business and also partner with some really efficient partners in terms of impact that we've now actually shifted to 1-for-1. And it's really important for us to be able to impact as many people as possible with our offering. So now for every cookie that we sell, we donate a meal to feed someone in need. And our cookies are made with better for you, non-GMO ingredients, no added preservatives or any artificial flavors. If you've actually seen the cookies, they're quite generous in terms of portion. They're 3 ounces. And they're kosher for those of us who are looking for kosher cookies. And we've been fortunate enough to get a lot of raving reviews. If you go on our website right now, I think it's probably up to 900 5-star reviews that we're getting from customers. Here are some of the pictures that we get from our customers. And we've been very fortunate enough to work with Gretchen, who's our recipe developer, to really create really delicious cookies. But what's more important about the cookies, is really the impact, right? You think about people who are struggling with hunger. In America, it's quite a lot. Before COVID, Feeding America was reporting that 37 million people in the United States are food insecure, meaning that they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And a recent report that they just projected was that that number has gone from 37 to 54 million because of COVID, right? People losing their jobs or being furloughed and things like that. And it's becoming a huge issue. And one thing that I've seen, having lived in America for the past 15 years, having moved from Zimbabwe, has been the whole notion around Americans are really giving people, right? They really care about giving back and making a difference. And we've seen it with Unbelievable. And our goal is to donate 1 million meals by 2022. And, we work right now with, about 7 different nonprofit organizations, from big organizations like World Vision to ones that are run by nuns like Sisters of Mercy, to Joshua's Heart Foundation, which was started by a 5-year-old in Miami. And we not just, send money for the meals, but we also donate our time. So the picture that you see there is part of the Loeb team at a soup kitchen in Harlem, where we got to spend the day feeding some of the, homeless and hungry, and really just loving them. So it's something that we do. Obviously, with COVID, there's been some limitations there. But once things open up again, it's something that we're going to be doing, and we'll always have the door open to any of the Unblinded folks that would love to come join us. And what we really have been working on with Sean and the team is to really think about how can we leverage what we have together to really drive a lot of impact. And we came up with a big, hairy, audacious goal, which is how could we provide 100,000 meals to people in need during the holiday season, right? But we wanted to go beyond just providing meals. And, Sean, we know his heart is really with the AFB, the American Foundation of the Blind. So we decided to also donate 20% of any of the net proceeds that will come out during this campaign to that particular cause as well. And we will do this in 2 ways. And the first one is through corporate gifting. And Silas, who's on the line from our team, he leads our corporate gifting efforts. So, if you're a realtor like Teresa or Jay Levine, and you want to send some boxes to some of your clients during the holiday season, we can create some custom, packages for you guys, or any business owner that wants to really, send some, thoughtful, conscious gifting to your clients, your partners, your vendors. We would love to partner with you, but more importantly, you'll be partnering with us in our mission to providing meals to people in need.
So if I could jump in real quick. So, sure. At Caliggy Law, we've gone through a process each year of sending out hundreds of gift baskets at the holidays. And plus we have a number of different ways that at the Christmas and holiday party, we do different things. I have a very large, 60-person family Thanksgiving, typically with my extended family. There's Halloween, and things that we do for Halloween parties and fun at the office and with others. And none of it is done with any availability to have impact through that beautiful fun. So we got to be having all that beautiful fun. And instead of ordering a basket, which has a whole bunch of things that I think people don't typically eat, there's like fancy gourmet baskets that come and, maybe you like them. I don't love like 90% of what's in them. And people send me these beautiful baskets and I'm super grateful for the thought, but they're not very productive for me because I just want to eat like cool, yummy cookies. And there's all kinds of weird stuff in them for me. And so having something delicious, that's usable, that's enjoyable. And we've had a lot of our clients over the years tell us, hey, we love the baskets, but man, and sometimes we would bring cookies and they weren't this good and they didn't have impact. So if it's like delivering something that is not only delicious, but also has impact with just a little intentionality, a small micro distinction, we create something amazing and feed people and help the AFB in this incredible mission. Cuda, please.
Yeah. So I've been reading some of the comments and I'm super encouraged. Rob Gill just said Epic will be sending cookies to all clients. So Silas, I'll connect you with Rob. Rob is actually my financial advisor as well. So it'll be good to really get that moving. And Peter Swain, he did an incredible job during Business Mastery Virtual and actually won it and had partnered up with Unbelievable. So thank you so much, everybody, for the nice comments. And then the second way you can partner with us is we have created the code Unblinded, and you'll get a 15% off And this is if you want to buy cookies for your own household, for your friends and family, people that you care about. And whenever you use this code, we'll be able to know that it's coming from the Unblinded community, and it will then go into that 100,000 meal, tracker that we're going to be tracking, as well as the 20% donation for the AFB that we'll be making. So those are really the two ways we plan to work, and throughout this Q4. We'll work with Sean and his team to be giving you guys updates as to where we are in kind of like the 100,000 meal campaign throughout this quarter. But we really, want to partner with everybody in the Unblinded community to make this happen. So if you have people that that you can refer us to, or even just connect, Silas from our team is really the point for this. But if you know me personally and you want to reach out to me personally, feel free to do that. Same thing with Brian. But Silas, his information is on the screen right now. You can definitely reach out to him. You can call him, you can email him, and he'll be able to help you really get your corporate gifting package or whatever you might have as an idea moving along. And Patricia, we do have a gluten-free cookie. That's our double chocolate. That's the one that Sean tasted the first time and wouldn't believe us when we told him that it was gluten-free. So it's quite delicious, if I should say. But yeah, that's what we are doing for Q4. We're really working hard to make a difference. And Brian and Sean, feel free to add anything if you feel that I missed something.
Sean, thank you for calling out the importance of not just the gifting element of it, but the idea of every time you are eating one of the cookies, you can know that you're actually helping feed somebody in need. So it's the gift, the giving. And that's a really important element, because there's many other gift opportunities that I know that you have access to. But this one in particular, because it has a dual purpose, we think that that's pretty powerful. It is very powerful. And obviously it builds our brand DNA. Yeah. Forgive me, I've got Ted in the background. He's our pet. I usually put him in the other room.
Hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted. Ted the parakeet. But no, we're grateful for that. And thank you for calling that out, Chunks. I think that's a really important part of this. And over the coming weeks, we'll not just provide you with updates, but we'll announce a special incentive to sort of encourage folks to help us meet this goal. And we'll follow up after this call with what that will be. So thank you.
Oh, wow. Exciting and fun stuff. Well, thank you for that, Brian and Silas. And so, and I want to bring on our amazing folks from Unblinded Elite in a moment to share some of their thoughts and feelings. I think what comes up for me is thinking about, and if you look at Tony, I've studied Tony Robbins' work for a very long time, but what I've also studied is the brilliance of how he thinks about business and relationships. And one cannot argue with his heart and desire for impact. And one can also not argue with the result and the benefit for his business, because people see him as so heart-centered and impactful. So think about what that does for you if you're gifting to people cookies and there's like a personalized note reminding them that as you enjoy this cookie, right, and as you spread this and pay this mission forward with Unbelievable, what you're doing is you're actually feeding people as you're eating this cookie, and as you're passing this gift along to people with some intentionality around what you gift to people, you're creating that dynamic. And I think it's incredibly powerful in how that shows up for your identity in the world, your branding in the world. And there's going to be an Unbelievable Real Raw Open that we're putting some more thought to and finishing touches on. And that'll be a beautiful place for people to intersect and to continue this movement forward, as well as you're doing your Real Raw Open and communicating with people about the Real Raw Open, to begin to think about it as an event and an event of impact. And the potential to say, hey, I'm going to have Unbelievable cookies for everybody coming. If you come on the Real Raw Open, you get to try Unbelievable cookies. This is of impact. We're feeding people. So there's like this contribution impact dynamic that is very present Unblinded, is not yet present in the Real Raw Opens themselves and the Real Raw. And that begins now. And it's a very fun, exciting time. And my wheels are spinning. I'm so thankful to Brian, Cuda and Silas for being here. And let's turn it to TTP, Diana, David. Let's begin TTP. What's on your heart and mind with this as you think about your 170 brokers, your agency, contribution, impact? What's present for you, TTP?
Good morning, John. What's present for me is this has been something Cuda and I have already been in conversations, because to me, the ability to give something to a client that has a meaning attached to it far outweighs the, pumpkin pies and apple pies I deliver myself for the holidays, right? Like, to me, this does that for me at a higher level. And the best part of it is, if I want to deliver it myself, Kudos like, hey, I'll drop ship them to you and you can hand deliver them, or we can, deliver them for you. So for me, it touches my heart.
Yeah, unbelievable. David Gonzalez, what's on your heart and mind, sir? Person of impact and heart-centeredness. What's present for you?
Well, did I hear correctly that Brian has a turkey in the background?
His name is Ted. He's the parakeet.
Oh, okay.
But he looks
What's on my heart? What was on my heart and mind was trying to figure out why there's a turkey in an apartment in New York City. But what else is on my mind? My Zoom just did something weird. Anyway, so what's on my heart and mind is I've actually been building relationship, thanks to you, Sean, with Cuda and Brian over the past, I think, close to 2 months. We've been getting on a weekly call and strategizing and coming up with really interesting, dynamic ways that we can help feed lots and lots of people. And it's been just an absolute pleasure, treasure, and joy to get to know them both. And actually, we just had a call yesterday. And I just think it's great that people get to eat something so delicious. I mean, those cookies were gone like in no time. I mean, they're so delicious. And my daughter is just like, I want more. And so it's just great to be able to blend the delectableness of these treats with such a good deed. And then to add on the National Federation of the Blind, and to be able to, it's just such a leveraged move. And I think anybody who's even has a thought about participating should jump right on in.
Yeah, and you know what, David, and everybody comes up for me, and I feel like, right now. We had the Unblinded Elite Immersion Weekend, and we had so much great stuff, and we didn't have Unbelievable cookies. And I love this, and I love the concept. And so what's present for me is conditioning in things intentionally. And I think that's what we're looking to do here. I mean, I love these guys. I love the cause. And sometimes when you get busy, we can forget. And if we could just condition into ourselves as we're going to gift things, as we're going to make decisions, that we're making impact decisions. And if we're anchoring this in, then we don't look back and go, oh my God, man. I mean, we probably would have fed, 1,000 people, over the course of a weekend, and we had some people that liked eating a lot of cookies and bloatation. We could have bloatations and Unbelievables. We could have Unbelievable cookies every day. It would have been extraordinary. And so just the intentionality I'm present to. Diana, what is present for you as we begin to round this morning out?
Thank you. First of all, I can't wait to taste them because I haven't yet. So yes, I'm lining up peanut butter in the house. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, great. What is present to me in my heart is that I love this idea of intentionality as a consumer, and also education. I am a mother of 2, and each time I buy a snack, I'm teaching them that it's possible to help somebody as we help ourselves get healthy food in the house, right? So I can give a gift to somebody and educate them on the power of giving as you're giving yourself, right? So it's a beautiful circle I feel a virtuous circle that can have so much impact in ourselves, in our health, in the giving, in the community that is building, in the education. And as kids, you know, my children are being taught by society to be consumers. And we have the power as parents to teach them, yes, it's okay to consume, and there's a way to buy and give at the same time. And this is a powerful mission. So I really love it, support it. I can't wait to taste the peanut butter cookies. And I just can't imagine, like, if we could all, each of us in our households, commit, we're like 100 people right now, right? In Unblinded, at least in LBI, we're 70 people. If we commit to share these cookies, say at a holiday event or a party, and then we influence 20 people, right? The massive impact, the acceleration that this can have is huge. So it starts with one commitment, which I'm making right now to promote this because I love the mission. I imagine how tasty they are. And I know my kids will show to their kids at school and so on. So it keeps growing. So thank you guys for being here. I can see your hearts through the screens. I love you.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, real quick, if I may.
Yeah.
First, I just want to apologize to Unbelievable. As a Weekend of Bliss and Business Mastery Vegas, I chipped into your marketing budget as I had maybe 4 times the amount that I was supposed to. So I'm sorry for that. And number 2, Kirk is on the line. I'm not just wanted to, you know, Kirk, if you have the opportunity to unmute and please share. We saw you on here and wanted to bring you live.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Kirk's
So
like, whoa, this is fun. Like, I didn't even know
I dropped into the Huddle for some Trajectory Tuesday momentum, and here I'm hearing about American Foundation for the Blind and cookies and food insecurity. And we've talked about the terrible employment situation for people who are blind. And as a result, about 30% of blind people in our country live with food insecurity. So we're trying to address that through creating pathways to employment. So it all comes together in a beautiful trajectory. And I love myself a good cookie. So we're on it. And just gratitude to everybody whose voice I've heard today. Thank you so much
and
for
Kirk,
including us.
And Kirk and everybody, think of this is where, you know, ecosystem merging, when we first heard about it, and we're going to take this home, guys, in the next 120 seconds. All right. But people, when they first began to hear about ecosystem merging, like, oh yeah, I have like referral relationships, right? Yeah, like I have a friend. Our ecosystems are merged. No, this is what ecosystem merging actually looks like. It could be complex, multifaceted, and dynamic. Think of how many people win with the intentionality of this agreement. It has percentages, it has numbers, it has goals, overall outcome. It has a mechanism of supporting the AFB, where during the holiday season, there may not be a gift specifically that would be as readily consumable, right, as consumer available to raise funds for the AFB. There's other things to do than having like a cookie, Unbelievable cookies. Like, there's Unbelievable's winning, the AFB is winning, Unblinded's winning, right? It amplifies our identity. You're winning. It amplifies your identity, your business's identity. The end consumer wins because they're eating a cookie. They get to tell people about intentionality and impact, because in the handwritten notes that you get to provide with certain levels of gifting of cookies, that happens. And we're just all doing good. And the businesses that are doing good are the businesses that are growing. All of those things are happening and many more. So Kirk, amen? Yeah, is Kirk still out there?
Yeah, let's eat a lot of cookies. Let's share a lot of cookies.
All right, let's go. So Brian, Cuda, Silas, thank you. Any final from you fine gentlemen?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. We're excited to, you know, be part of your community, Sean, and we're happy to launch in with something where we can really merge our ecosystems.
Yeah. Well, let's go, gentlemen. Thank you. I couldn't appreciate you more, and thank you again, because as all this works together for the article on Entrepreneur, it was beautiful and wonderful, and I know we've only just all begun to begin. So thank you. It is Trajectory Tuesday, and yes, Fernando was at Weekend of Bliss. That's where we also met Craig Baumel. Fernando did eat 4 times as many cookies and